Very good afternoon. After excellent presentation of previous speakers, my topic is on protection of patients' right. Both Dr. Joyanto and Dr. Sumana already covered various aspects. Thanks to AIOC and Dr. Joyanto for giving me this opportunity. First of all, we should know why patients' rights are so important. Awareness on patients' rights by healthcare providers positively influences patient satisfaction. Lack of its observance erodes trust between the two and endanger the life and safety of both, ultimately culminating to more and more violences that we often see. Then what is Charter of Patients' Right? A patient is entitled to a certain amount of protection to be ensured by physicians, healthcare providers, and the state, which have been codified in various societies and countries in the form of charters of patients' right. In India, it has been proposed by Central Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and to be implemented by a state government. What are the legal documents on patients' right? In India, there is the Constitution of India, Article 21, Indian Medical Council Regulation, the Consumer Protection Act, Drugs and Cosmetic Act, Clinical Establishment Act 2010, etc. Why there is a need for this draft? This document will act as an operational mechanism to make these rights functional and enforceable by law. This charter is to generate widespread public awareness and educate citizens what they should expect from healthcare system. India presently does not have a dedicated regulator as other countries, but some states have adopted the National Clinical Establishment Act 2010. The charter has defined 17 rights of the patient. What are those rights? First of all, the right to emergency medical care and non-discrimination. As per Supreme Court, all hospitals, both private and government, are bound to provide emergency medical care, and such care should be initiated without demanding any payment, and basic care to be provided irrespective of paying capacity of the patient. Any discrimination on the basis of the patient's illness, their disease status, religion, caste, ethnicity, gender, age, language, or their social origin is a clear violation of law. Every patient has the right to adequate information regarding their nature and cause of illness, provisional and if possible confirmed diagnosis, investigation necessary for the disease, plan of management, and complications may arise during the process of their treatment. Professional status of all healthcare providers should be informed them. This is already explained by Dr. Joyanto that informed consent is very much important, and we can't approach to any potentially hazardous procedure like in our ophthalmology, DFA, laser, or any surgical intervention without giving any written informed consent. And consent must be given by patient or its caregivers. Right to confidentiality, human dignity, and privacy. Doctors have a duty to hold information about patients' health condition and treatment plans in strict confidentiality, unless it is essential for public health interest, like in case of communicable diseases. Right to protection of their privacy during physical examination, such as on female attendant, must be there during examination of female patient by male doctors. Right to records, reports, and transparency. All patients and their caregiver can access original or copies of case papers, indoor patient reports, and investigation reports within 24 hours of admission and 72 hours of discharge. And this should be made available after paying appropriate fees for photocopy. Information on rates and services should be available every detail as a prominent display and in a brochure. Display must be at a conspicuous place and bilingual. Patients should be given itemized bill at the time of payment. Patient and their caregivers can choose any registered pharmacy for purchasing their medicines. Similarly, for diagnostic and laboratory tests, they can choose any laboratory having qualified personnel and accredited by NABL. Right to seek opinion or choose alternative treatment. Every patient has the right to seek second opinion from clinicians of their choice. The management should provide necessary records and information without any extra cost for that purpose. patient can choose between alternative treatment and management options if available. Considering all aspects, patient can refuse the treatment with their own responsibility. Right to proper referral, transfer, and take discharge. Patient has a right to continuity of care and the right to be duly registered at first healthcare facility as well as at any subsequent facilities where care is sought. Patient's discharge cannot be detained on procedural grounds, which includes non-payment, dispute on payment of hospital charges, not consented previously by the patient and their caregivers. Similarly, body of the deceased cannot be detained on the same ground. Right to protection of patients involved in clinical trial and protection of participants involved in biomedical and health research. All clinical trials must be conducted in compliance with the protocols and good clinical practice guidelines. Every patient who is approached to participate has the right to due protection. Every patient taking part in biomedical research shall be referred to as research participant. Research participants should follow the national ethical guidelines for biomedical and health research. Right to safety and quality care according to standards. Healthcare providers should ensure safe and secure hospital premises for the patient and their caregivers. And care should be provided with adequate cleanliness and proper infection control measures. Also, they should ensure adequate sanitation facilities and safe drinking water provision as per standards. Patients must be educated on their health condition and healthy living practices. Responsibilities towards healthcare system, health insurance scheme which are relevant and officially supported, relevant entitlements in case of charitable hospitals, how to seek redressal in the language of the patient. Right to seek redressal and to be heard. Every patient or caregivers are entitled to give feedback or lodge complaints about the care they receive from hospital or doctors. In such case, information should be given on how to give feedback in a simple and user-friendly manner. Then why we can't implement such rights? Most of the time, it is lack of our adequate knowledge on patients' rights, lack of standards and strategies to improve implementation of these rights, pseudo sense of being protected by professional indemnity, attitude and behavior of healthcare providers, excess patient load leading to less interaction time with the patients, pressure of corporate policymakers. So now the key areas of patients' bills of rights. Respect and attitude towards the patient and their caregiver. It's the most important aspect. And giving more time of interaction in our field, particularly in cases of glaucoma patients and patients posted for complicated surgical cases and patients when there is multiple intravitreal injection, costly injections are necessary. Those patients must be interacted thoroughly. Otherwise, later on, they may be dissatisfied. Detailing of treatment plans, transparency on rate and services, timely referral, access to emergency services, taking part in treatment decisions, confidentiality of health information, complaints and appeals provision should be there always. With this, I am concluding my presentation. Thank you all for patient here.